Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Chronicles of Hogwarts. Um, Now, this is a brand new campaign set in the Harry Potter setting. We're going to be playing the year after the Battle of Hogwarts. But before we begin, we can have a little presentation of each of the players and the characters. Just if you want to just say whatever you want the others to know about yourselves, things like pronouns and stuff like this. I'll start real quick and then we'll go over the different players and your characters. My name is Simon Ingrand. I've been a game master for more than 10 years now. I'm currently developing this game and I'm really excited to be here today. Dane, you want to take it up from here?
Yeah, hi there, my name's Dean. Some of you probably know me from around Roll20. I play an ungodly number of games. Um, Today I'll be playing an interesting character. I don't know if we're going into that because I was just spacing out, but my pronouns are he, him in both cases.
All right. What playbook do you play in? Can you tell us a bit about your moves and what your character can do in general?
Yeah, let me open it up here. I play Wyndon Morse, and he'll be a tamer of the Gryffindor variety. And a tamer is basically like your Newt Scamander or your Hagrid. It's someone who's super interested in animals of the magical variety, or maybe just all animals for some reason. And let's see. So my playbook move, the thing that I get automatically, is Wild Bunch, and it's basically like how I'm gonna attempt to control my animals. And the move I selected is Extra Pair of Eyes, and it's going to allow me to kind of observe my animals observing things, and therefore notice those things. So it makes my perception a little better when I'm around my animals. I've also got a class move, which is Practical Use. The class I'm in teaches me something about my beasts, and sometimes that'll come up and be helpful. Mostly I just know how to take good care of them. So that's Wyndon Morse, the Gryffindor.
All right. Afterwards, we have in the chat we've got Adam. Hello.
Hello. My name's Adam. I'll be playing a playbook called The Heir, and I'll be playing a girl from the house Hufflepuff. The playbook's name is The Heir, which means that her defining quality is that she comes from an established family of wizards with long traditions, and my moves reflect this. They are all basically related to my reputation and my connection to the family members of my esteemed lineage. And what else? Oh, my case and she, her in the case of my character. And I think that's it for now.
Alrighty. Lumen, or would you rather I call you Victoria?
Victoria. Hi, I'm Victoria. I'll be playing the Vane playbook, which is all about rumor spreading and some social intelligence, it sounds like. My character's name is Valeria Carter. The moves that I've taken are Deceiver and Rumor Mill, so lots of playing with people's heads and getting information. I also have a class move in Spreading Rumors. That'll be pretty fun. Can't wait to get start Ravenclaw looks like. Thanks.
All right.
Be her in both cases.
Gotcha. And Mura.
Playing Rowan Reed. He is a Ravenclaw bookworm. So basically, his playbook is all about hitting the library or using notes to do things. Basically, Hermione light. My class moves involve basically studying in the library, and my the moves I've taken are study for this. Basically, lets me use wits instead of courage, and expert hand raiser to automatically know the answers to questions in class.
Right. So, if you have if you're done with the presentation of your character, are you?
Yep.
All right. Then we can start associating camaraderie with the other characters. Now, towards the bottom of your character sheet, you've got the relationships section, and in your playbooks, you've got different options to give or get camaraderie with people. In this game, camaraderie is what is supposed to represent friendship, or in the cases of getting it with adults, respect or things like this. And when you gain it, you learn how to work together better, so you're able to use the two loyalty-based moves, which are receive unexpected help and lend a hand. So in your playbooks, you'll all have options for giving a person two camaraderie, getting two camaraderie with someone, and getting one camaraderie and giving one to a third person. So since we have 4 players here today, it's somewhat of a good fit, but we can also save some for our 5th player who can't make it right now, and we can also use it for. We can also use for NPCs. If, for example, one of your camaraderie options doesn't exactly fit with one of the players, you can say, "Oh, this is going to fit with another first year just like me," and we're going to and like we can create a new character to fit in that position of camaraderie in your life. So, who wants to start?
So how many of these do we get to start with?
Everyone has 3 detailed in your playbooks. Under just before, just under the class move and above the playbook moves.
Okay. I have one idea.
Okay.
I was thinking that since my character is kind of all about the animals, and Rowan Reed is all about the knowledge, maybe there's something there. So maybe some camaraderie thrown that way.
Okay. So what are your options for the tamer for the camaraderie bonuses?
I do not have that open. Could you link that?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm going to copy and paste it for you. Does somebody else want to start beforehand?
I think Alice and the air and I had been talking earlier about sort of having some sort of relationship, and one of my camaraderie stats is you consider someone equal to yourself, which is saying a lot. You both get 1 camaraderie with each other. I think that might work.
Okay. And on that note, one of my options is someone appreciates the ties that bind your 2 families. So can we get both? Can we do both things?
Yes.
With each other?
Yeah.
So and mine also says you both get 1 camaraderie with each other. So that would mean we get 2 each.
Yes. You each mark 2 with the other, and you write the name of the character. So Yeah. Can you reread the relationship
Mine?
between your characters? Yeah, both of you.
So once more for Allison, someone appreciates the ties that bind your two families. You both get one camaraderie with each other. So our two families are close, apparently.
Okay.
Right. And you had something to do with.
I consider Allison to be my equal, and so we both get one camaraderie with each other. So we're both sitting at 2 currently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's a very mutual relationship. It's
Yes.
you consider yourselves, both of your families have a good relationship. So we could say that your characters know each other before you get on the Hogwarts Express. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
All right. Okay, Victoria, what are your other options?
Okay, so my other 2 options are I've helped someone change their looks to be one of the cool kids, in which case I take 2 camaraderie with them. The other is someone knows my most shameful secret and hasn't ratted me out yet, and to that person I'd give 2 camaraderie.
Okay, so who are you going to give those to? And the other players can suggest if they would like to be, for example, the cool kid, or if they would like to know your secrets.
Kind of the potential. Does anybody have any ideas or things that they prefer?
I'm willing to do one of the cool kids things, and we could say like probably give you one of mine that I helped you with your notes or something.
Sounds good. Okay, and that was Rowan, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I should have the chat open so I can see when people are talking. Okay, so help Rowan fit in.
So that gives you 2 camaraderie with Rowan.
Yes.
Okay. I should make a quick presentation of Rickon. Rickon is playing the seer. The seer is able to have visions of the future, and usually they are doomed to a terrible fate because they have predicted their own death in some way. His has to do with the Forbidden Forest and brooms. I don't. And he's playing a Gryffindor. I don't know much more about like who his character is. We haven't gone into much more details. So I think so. If you think that something fits with this character, you can also have camaraderie options with Rick. But otherwise, you also there are also different moves that give you camaraderie with your friends. So there's no need to there's no obligation to start with camaraderie with everyone in the group. So Dane, do you think your character might know Valeria's secrets?
It's possible. He's probably always, following his pets around, seeing stuff, hearing stuff.
Yeah, you have you receive something you're not supposed to when they're around you, right?
Correct. I have extra pair of eyes.
So it would make sense that you might have spotted something. What is Valeria's secret? What is the
I'm trying to think of where I want to take this.
Now you're all playing first years, so you're all playing 11-year-olds. So there's no need to make this dark. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so kind of I can go sort of lighter. Book 7 was really heavy, so it's still in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're starting. We're in at least the first year that we're going to play. We're going for a lighter mood. I'm starting off with like one of the lighter ideas for an overarching scenario.
So, Valeria's secret is that she listens to really trashy Muggle pop music.
Okay.
Scandal.
Scandalous. If this got out, it could ruin me.
I love it. I've got an idea. Wyndon. Wyndon, one of your creatures could have picked up on this. I think either Mab the Fairy or Percival the Measle would might have like had enough of a good earring, or might have like flown close enough to Valeria's earbuds to pick up on that. What do you think?
If it's hidden on earbuds, then maybe like she fell asleep at one point, and he just kind of like picked it up and listened to it as he was cruising by. I don't know. If it's that much of a secret, like that he couldn't just happen upon it, then he probably like nosed his way into it a little bit.
Maybe he was digging through one of my bags and found, let's see, this is like what the 80s, 90s, so like found a CD or cassette or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had to ask someone what it was, because
exactly.
he's had an interesting life.
Okay, so let's say this happened on the Hogwarts Express. Okay, that's where your secret was found out. So that means Wyndon, you gain 2 camaraderie with a Valyria character. And okay, who's Wyndon? Do you want to do your options? I posted them in the Roll20 chat.
And I need to choose someone for one of each of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I'd like to. I had a question. So, who likes cute things? Because, like, if you're first of all, if you're vain, right, it could go either way. Either like you like it or you're jealous of it. And I don't know anything about the other ones, so.
If I may, I think my character could be into cute things. Very much so.
Who's speaking?
Adam Allison.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
because
have to say
I picked. Yeah.
that someone bonded with you over the cutest of your creatures. You both get 1 camaraderie with each other. And that's
I would be
Allison.
I would be very okay with that. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So I take 1 on Wyndon, right?
Yes. Now the important question is, which one of between Mam and Parzival, which one is the cutest?
Oh, it was Mab. It's a fairy, and it's a very vain creature, which is why I mentioned that. And they possess diminutive intelligence, and but they're very vain, and they allow themselves to be used as decorations for wizards, and they're very cute. So there you have it.
So maybe I saw you with that fairy on the train. Basically, you were playing with it, or I don't know what you could have been doing with it, but I saw you and I was entranced by what I saw.
Nice. I think see a sort of at some point a sort of rivalry between Mab and Valyria. Okay. What are your other options, Wyndon?
My other options are: you're teaching someone to respect magical creatures and not to fear them. Take 2 camaraderie with them. The other one is someone helped you hide one of your beasts when it was in trouble. Give them 2 camaraderie.
So,
if I may, I think maybe I found your little wee beastie digging through my bag, and I don't think you're supposed to have the wee beasties on the train.
So I don't know where it is on my character sheet at this point, but I have 3 animals, and I may as well get this out there if that's okay, GM Simon.
Yeah, it's in the extra information at the bottom.
Yeah, but there was like some information like this one is like finicky about this, and I don't know where that ended up. I'll find it.
Oh.
Anyway, I have an augury, which is an Irish phoenix, as it's also known, and his name's Horace, and he's been in the family for a while. He's kind of like a greenish black, kind of mournful looking bird. Probably hanging out in a cage right now, or during the train ride actually. There's a Kneasel, which is a cat. It looks like a large cat right now because I trimmed its tail and its ears and all that. It's white with blue eyes, an albino, and that's Percival. And then we got Mab the fairy, who you already know. And Kneasels are kind of like mischievous. They are keen, shrewd judges of character, and they're highly intelligent. Auguries are kind of like I don't know. They're known for predicting the weather and things like that. Kind of scare some people who are superstitious. And fairies are kind of like very much considered overrated by a lot of the wizarding world. They're kind of not super smart. They're basically in the same vein as like bow truckles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go.
So, what was the name of the fairy once again?
Mab.
How do you spell it?
I threw it in chat in Roll20. MAB.
Ah, okay. Ah, that's okay. Thanks.
Also, I threw in chat the option for your magical beast. One of them is still pretty wild and causes you trouble, but is very helpful because blank. And you're not supposed to have blank, but to be fair, what are you supposed to do when they follow you home? And blank has special needs and require constant blank, but you love to take care of them. I think your augury requires constant water, I think it was.
It needs constant rain in order to hunt on its own, but I take care of them when it's not raining. And the first one was the fairy. Mab is still pretty wild and causes me trouble, but is helpful because she's got like this fairy magic, which is a very limited form of magic that she uses to evade predators and also occasionally help out. And let's see. I'm not supposed to have my Kneasel, Percival, at Hogwarts. But to be fair, what am I supposed to do when they follow me home? I come from a household of bird people. So I've got this magical cat that I've trimmed up to look like a normal cat, and that's my Hogwarts familiar. Is how I'm getting away with that.
Perfect. Okay. So did we say who helped you hide one of your bees?
I was suggesting that, but I don't know if that's an option you want to take, or if any of the other players might have an edge on that.
Sorry, I sort of derailed there. I guess I was just telling you about the different animals. I'm totally down, but I wanted to know who got into trouble with you.
I think it kind of sounds like the Kneasel. That seems like their purview. I think maybe after it got into my bag, it might have hit the the little concession trolley that they have on the train.
Mm-hmm.
To nab some stuff off of that. I think the lady who sells the goodies and snacks might not have been too down with having your in her wares.
Yeah, I think you're right. So what do we do there?
You give me camaraderie.
Cool. So let's do that.
Okay, it's nice because you kept a secret, keep a secret for the other, and avoid revealing, and you both hid something for the other. That's a nice back and forth. And who are you teaching to respect magical creatures and not to fear them?
So I have everybody except for the bookworm so far, and it would kind of make sense. I'm not making this the way it is or anything, but I'm saying it would make sense if Rowan kind of had a fear of some magical creatures or something, or just wasn't used to them yet because of library times or whatever upbringing.
Yes, spent no fury, but be afraid of but have read all of the ministry books about how measles are actually really dangerous and are classified XXX creatures.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like fairies bite, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you two camaraderie.
So two camaraderie with Dane?
No, right. Dane writes down. He has two camaraderie.
Okay, I see now.
Is that fine?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Perfect. Okay. Rowan now. What are your options for relationships as the bookworm?
All right, let's see here. So, I helped someone with homework multiple times. I'm going to guess this is going to be Valeria.
Okay.
Could be me also, if Victoria, if you want to make Valeria smart, because I'm fine with Alison not being a great student.
Up to you.
I feel so bad.
Year one.
Not me.
So
I don't know. I
how do you
mean,
want it?
Allison, do you feel kind of more strongly about that?
It can go either way. I pictured Alison as the kind of cute, fun-loving, sociable girl who's not maybe very strong in academia.
Maybe that makes a little more sense.
All right. Yes, I'll put Allison then.
Great.
So that's two camaraderie with you. All right. So someone gets me out of the library to go outside and socialize, basically.
Someone is forcing you out
of the library, yeah.
Okay, nice. Who's that?
I don't know. Who would be the biggest
Tamer, maybe. Because it fits nicely with teaching you to not fear magical creatures, maybe.
We can do that. Tamer is.
I mean, if Dane is okay with it, of course.
So we each gain one camaraderie with each other.
I'm sorry, I totally spaced out 100%. What was the thing?
You get me out of the library, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Before needs some sunshine.
I'm probably a terrible student and probably a really great influence on you.
The greatest. And then the last one is someone showing you how to sneak into the Forbidden Library despite the risks.
So
who's the rule breaker?
Not me.
I'd be happy to do that, but I don't know if are we still saving some for our Gryffindor friend?
Yeah, like it could be the seer as well, but it could also be Valeria. Like it's up to you.
Did doing that, but I also know like how frustrating it can be to come into an apocalypse, powered by the apocalypse game, and not have any connections to people.
We could sort that out as it comes, just in case he doesn't actually end up being able to play for whatever reason.
Yeah, if he doesn't end up playing, he would essentially be turned into an NPC. And if you give an NPC camaraderie, you actually get camaraderie with the NPC instead, because the NPCs don't spend camaraderie.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, we can have him have it then. So what's his character name?
Rickon so far. So currently he has how much camaraderie with you?
So he gets 2.
Okay. Alright, duly noted. And he's shown you to how to sneak into the forbidden section of the library. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Just checking that I've given. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Then you should have access to all of the character sheets. Yeah. Just be careful not to modify anything, because technically the ability to like modify stuff on everybody's character sheets.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. And Valeria, what are your wait.
I already did mine. So I have 2 with Allison, 2 with Rowan, and 2 with Lyndon. Okay.
Oh wait. Sorry. Whose relationships haven't we done yet?
I haven't done all of mine yet.
Okay, yeah. Go. So sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
I only did the first one about the bond between our families with Valeria, and I also have someone is teaching you to look past people's lineage and appreciate the person beneath. And the other one, you've shown someone your hidden failings when it comes to living up to your family's expectations. So basically, who would I be talking very openly and honestly with about my family and my feelings toward them, and who would be my, I don't know, trying to get me to look past such things.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
What is everybody? Pure blood? What you call half blood or mud blood or whatever?
Muggleborn.
Yeah, I know it's highly insulting, but I'm not one, so.
Oof. I'm playing as Muggleborn.
So wait. Specify the name of your character.
Rowan, sorry,
Yeah.
is Muggleborn.
Okay.
So my character believes that he's a half-blood, but it is inconclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it
sorry. Is it because Rowan doesn't know? Not Rowan. Wyndon doesn't know his parentage.
He doesn't know his father. He just knows what his mother told him about his father.
All right. And your mom's the witch, if I remember.
She's a witch, from Basque.
All right.
And I have a question, because I think my family, the Applebys, are generally very cool with Muggles, and they don't have any bias against them, like the Malfoys, for example. But what if my father was a pureblood wizard and my mother was a Muggleborn who became a wizard, like Hermione, for instance? So that would make me a pureblood or half-blood?
Technically, it would make you a pureblood because pureblood, and his mom was a Muggleborn.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess it's pureblood then. But like I say, my family is very cool with mixing with muggles and inviting people from out of the pure blood circles into our family, provided that their first names start with the letter A.
Yeah, of course. That's the most important criteria for marriage.
Yes.
I think Valeria is half-blooded. I think her dad's a wizard and her mom is a muggle.
Okay.
Embarrassing collection of muggle music.
All right. So the reason why you want to like the fact that you listen to this sort of music is more because you want to fit in with wizarding society than something that's been ingrained in you by your family that it's bad to listen to.
I think it's just embarrassing in wizard society. Just because it's a little odd. I think her mom would have been okay with that, but not so much. I think her dad might want her to be just like kind of ignore the muggle part, like you're a wizard or witch. Go be that.
Okay. All right. So,
So we're still on my relations.
yes. So,
Yeah, someone is teaching you to look past people's image and appreciate the person beneath. Who could that be? Who feels like they could be?
I feel like that wouldn't necessarily fit Valeria's character because the vein is supposed to be about outward appearance.
Probably not Valeria, right?
Did you already get one? Oh, you're Allison. Okay.
Yes.
So, is this the one about your heritage?
Yes.
So
yes, I believe so.
I'd recommend Rowan. It sounds like he's like an awesome pureblood that just makes people feel better about not being purebloods. That's the gist I got.
Okay. Rowan?
Wait, Rowan is a Muggle-born.
Oh, I got you backwards.
Is he?
So.
Okay.
Yeah, Rowan's a Muggle-born.
This is an interesting one for a pureblood then.
What do you mean?
Like someone makes you feel better about your heritage? Maybe your family has some, I don't know, reputation?
Well, it would make sense if the person would be a Muggle-born, right? If it's about looking past people's heritage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very true.
It could fit Rowan pretty well if like you might have a lot of respect for Muggles, but still judge people just based on who their ancestors in the wizarding world were. So encountering a Muggle-born would be like you have no ability to judge them based on their ancestry, so you're learning to look beyond that.
Also, in the case of my character, it could also be about not coming from a rich family, because my character is very rich and accustomed to a certain level of lifestyle. Gotcha. So it could be also about that. But if you think that Rowan makes sense, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
Like the half-bloods might, get advice from their parents, like don't play with so and so, and come in with all these preconceived notions.
So that would mean I take 2 camaraderie with Rowan.
Okay.
And yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
One second, I'll just put it into my character sheet. Rowan 2. And my last one is, 1 second. You've shown someone your hidden failings when it comes to living up to your family's expectations. So, who would I be? Well, I guess that leaves Wyndham, right?
Who?
Wyndham.
Yeah,
Wyndham? Dane? Do I have it right?
Could you read that off one more time? I'm so sorry.
Yes. Yes. You've shown someone your hidden failings when it comes to living up to your family's expectations. So maybe when we bonded over your fairy, I was opening a little bit about my family and their crushing expectations, and that I'm not sure if I'm able to carry that weight.
That sounds great.
Yes.
I probably shared something like, my family's not super well respected either.
Mine is actually.
Oh, well, I don't have that pressure, is what I shared.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Okay.
That I don't get
Yes, because you're not having that pressure made it easier for me to open up maybe to you. It's something that I could never tell Valeria, for instance.
I'm sorry about my attention span, folks. I'm paying attention to the technical aspect of the game here.
No problem.
So, how much camaraderie?
2. You take 2 only.
And he's playing Addison Appleby.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So Brendan takes 2 camaraderie on Addison.
Sounds great.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So now, before we begin the game, there's 2 things that I want to talk about. The first one is the Veils and Lines system, and the second one is the mysteries, which are going to be the central aspect of the narrative for this game. First of all, the Veils and Lines system is basically it's to make everybody comfortable with the themes that we're going to be treating, that are going to be inside of this game. Basically, lines are themes that we do not want to have in the game at all. And veils are things that can happen to the character. It just can't happen. Just as long as we don't go into too much description and too much detail. So what I usually use for most of my games is the lines are rape and child abuse, and the veils, things that I'm okay with, are happening to some characters, just as long as we don't describe it, sex and torture. And if anyone has anything else that they're not too comfortable with right now, just we can add it to this, or if later down the game it's you're bothered by something that's happening in a scene, there's also the X card system that we can use, where you just type X in chat and as a single message, and we just move on to the next scene, no questions asked. So, does anyone want to add anything to our Veils and Lines? Is everybody okay with what we have so far?
That was
Yeah.
pretty solid. I don't have a big thing about this, but it's something you touched on, Simon. I don't know if you care, but there was some talk of J.K. Rowling kind of using the Native American stuff, and maybe we could just leave that part out of the setting.
Yes. You know what? Let's. I just want to touch to this game especially. There's two things that I think we should avoid as much as possible. J.K. Rowling started using some culture, some aspects of the Native American culture that she does not at all belong to when she was describing parts of America and Ilvermore's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, things that belong to a culture that's been long repressed. So I'd rather avoid using creatures from those cultures because I'm not part of that culture at all, and I wouldn't feel comfortable GMing this. And the other aspect is goblins, because whether or not she did it intentionally, bankers who are nasty and who have big noses, as they are described in the books. It's a anti-Semitic meme, and I'd rather we just forgo the Gringotts exist. We just don't need to have any goblins in the game and spread that this anti-Semitic.
Stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. So is that fine with everyone? If in the lines, I'm going to add goblins and Native American cultures and maybe just cultural appropriation in general. Is that fine with everyone?
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with it as long as the story is still playable. If we go into Gringotts, we don't need to talk to anybody, but it's still a possibility.
It's
Yeah,
self-service now.
Yeah, you guys just change the description of the goblins too.
Yeah, I'm basically I don't have any plans in Gringotts, so that should be fine. Okay.
All right, team, let's go rob Gringotts.
Hmm?
Let's go rob
Exactly.
Gringotts.
There's no one there.
It's even easier.
Perfect for a bank heist. None of the goblins are present right now.
Exactly.
You're 11 years old and you're a bit too young. Anyways.
We're gonna give Voldemort a run for his money here.
Okay, and the last aspect is going to be that we should discuss before starting is the mysteries. Mysteries, basically, as as someone on YouTube said, the Harry Potter books are mystery novels disguised as fantasy. That's why each of you is constantly going to have one mystery that your characters are trying to find the answers to. You don't have to, spend. Your character doesn't have to spend every waking moment trying to resolve to, but it's always there nagging you at the back of your head, and you're going to be. And the game mechanics give you clues to those mysteries when you select the option to gain clues. I'm also going to be inserting subtle clues inside of the narrative that you can still. That some of the moves, including hit the library, can reveal to you as being clues later on. So the way that it works is that I have an overarching year-long mystery. I've got something that's happening in Hogwarts that is the main plot, basically, and every single mystery that you have. Or that you are going to have is going to be linked to that overarching mystery in some way, or is going to open up to a new mystery that will lead back to the overarching one. So each of you has selected a mystery from your playbooks. As soon as you find the answer to you either select a new one from your playbook, or you can discuss with me, there's this thing that I'm curious about that we didn't resolve yet. Can I have this as my new mystery? And you always have one going on. So everybody's going to read the mysteries that they selected and the thing that they added into the mystery, and then we're going to begin. But before that, are there any questions? No? Okay.
I have one question at this point. Will the game be very much focused on solving the mysteries, or will this be a background thing?
Well, I'm going to let Victoria answer that.
Oh, okay. Are the mysteries the focus or the background?
Hmm? Oh, it's the thing that's written on the investigation.
Sorry. So you want my mystery?
He was asking if you're would if you would be invested in solving it or not? I think.
Well, no. I was asking a general question. Will the investigations dominate the story of the game, or will they be more of a background thing?
Oh, of the game, not the
Yes.
vein. Sorry, I heard the vein.
No. Sorry.
No problem. So basically, I'm going to try to imitate the mood that the books are going for. Basically, like there's the school year is going on, and and in the description of what is happening around you, there's going to be bits and pieces to solve the mysteries, and the game is about resolve. But you don't have to like
Keep
you know
pressing.
like
Keep
Sorry?
pressing on. Keep pressing on to solve them.
yeah exactly like in the books a lot of the time the characters are passive in regards to the different that are happening until a point where they realize that there's danger to them or to someone to them, and then they take a more and then they start taking a more active role. Your characters could take a more active role in resolving mysteries from the get-go. You could be very interested in finding the answers, or it could be just something that you happen to learn about throughout the game. I think you get some clues from you get clues from. Hold on 1 second. Hitting the library, and when when you can also receive unexpected help, who has can give you a clue as to one of your character's mysteries when you call upon this person.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Valeria, what is your mystery? Oh no, Valeria left for a second. Rowan, what is your mystery?
All right, my mystery is that so somebody left a Year One Defense Against the Dark Arts book inside the forbidden section of the library, and I'm curious about whose it is.
Okay. Alison, what is your mystery?
Mine is this year a member of my family, I think this would be my grandmother Apollonia, warned me against talking to the portraits hanging on the walls at Hogwarts. But they should have no reason to worry. Hogwarts is safe, right?
Okay. What is Wyndon's mystery?
I noticed the school owls act terrified of Horace the augury, even though they don't seem that threatening. I wonder what is causing all this fear.
Okay. And Valeria's mystery is rumor has it that Professor Greenwood, the new history of magic teacher, has a dark secret from their past, which is why they never talk about it. What do we even know, and could that get them fired? Okay. Okay. Victoria, are you back?
I'm here. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we just read everyone's mysteries, and we are good to start. So just one thing, Rowan, since we start the game with your characters arriving at Hogwarts. You're not aware of your mystery yet, but we're going to say that within the first day you go to the library and notice that there is a book that's been left there during the the first night. And it might even be close enough to the entrance of the forbidden section that you could have that you reached it and picked it up, and that you have it now. Is that fine with you?
Yep.
All right.
Already breaking rules. First day, forbidden section of the library.
No.
Give me that forbidden lore.
No. Rowan just picked up a book. It's first year Defense Against the Dark Arts notebook. I think we established. Yes.
Yep.
All right. So, your characters are eager first years. You've heard so much about Hogwarts. You're finally seeing it as you take the boats all the way up to the castle. You're allowed in by, I think it's going to be Hagrid this year, since McGonagall is now headmistress. And as the doors to the great hall open, you look around you and you see the 4 tables of the 4 houses, and and there's less students than you were expecting. There's lots of holes between the different seats, as if there are people missing, and you realize that's because of all of the people who fell during the Battle of Hogwarts. You make your way all the way to all the way between the tables, and you arrive in front of McGonagall, the headmistress, who puts the sorting hat on the stool, and it starts singing. Now, my singing is horrible, and my songwriting isn't very good either, but this is... So I'm not going to sing it, but here is what it says. The dark days are finally over, now that the Dark Lord is dead. The army's gone, and moreover, all his servants have fled. So now peace can prosper, and we can begin a new chapter, so long as we remember those gone in their early hour. Each of them showed their virtue. Listen as I say, it's true. Gryffindors fought fierce and gritty, the horrors now in their grave, showing their houses mighty, as it collected the brave. Oh, but we were sure to fail, if not for the wits of Ravenclaws, who using all of their wits to prevail, and to evade death's jaws. Let's not forget House Hufflepuff, whose loyalty never faltered. And even though fighting was rough, together we finally conquered. Few know where the Slytherins were when the castle was going boom, yet I know the Sly did not err, where they hid in their common room, for they were protecting those of every house too young to fight. Much emptier would be the rows along the 4 tables tonight, if not for everyone's efforts. Oh, on that night of old and new, tonight I can once again sort students into the house for you. And as it's done singing, Professor McGonagall extends a list, a parchment, and the first name on the list is Alison Appleby. Your family is usually, during the year, the first person to have the sorting hat placed on their heads, since everyone in your family has their name starting with A. So,
Yes.
How long does it take for the sorting hat to sort you into Hufflepuff?
1 second. No hesitation.
Okay.
Oh, you're an Appleby. Hufflepuff.
The list starts to the list continues on, and and all of you are sorted into your respective houses. Let's let's just go over which houses everyone is in. Rowan, you are a Ravenclaw. All right. Valeria is also a Ravenclaw, and Wyndon is a Gryffindor. All right. So no Slytherins this year. as the first years are sorted, they slowly fill out. You all slowly fill out the places, the holes between the students, and some of you can see a lot of emotion in the eyes of some of the students who just watch you taking spots and you know seeming to realize once again that they've lost some of their comrades, but also just you're all greeted very warmly by everyone. And before the feast can begin, McGonagall says a few words. She says, one of the traditions of Hogwarts has always been that the houses should compete with each other and stay on separate sides. But now is not the time for picking sides anymore. We are in the time of peace, and we must all work together. That is why we have abolished the rule that you must sit at the table of and into which you were sorted during dinner. You may sit wherever you like and call anyone you like friends. And as she says this, you see a couple of siblings who go up to their who get up and who are going to go and sit next to their older siblings, or older siblings who come and comfort and cheer some of the first years. Do any of you want to go and sit somewhere else?
I want to go sit with Allison, who I met on the train and was very friendly with me. So I'm going to sit at the Ravenclaw table.
Okay.
And I assume I'm trying to sit with my bestie Valeria.
Toast besties, yeah, we were definitely sitting together.
Cool.
Who's sitting with voice?
Alison.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so we get 2 table swaps. Nice. And all right. And McGonagall then says, "Now let the feast begin." And as a lot of delicious meals start to appear in the golden plates before you. But before anyone can start eating, the front doors of the hall open again, and you see a group of a group of wizards wearing dark robes, stained by the what's it called? Stained by the rain outside, entering, and they stay towards the. They don't come in too much, but you see McGonagall walking up to them alongside Filch and asking them, what is the meaning of this? What are they doing here? And for a second, they look a bit confused, as if they don't like they talk to each other as if they're figuring out why they're here. But then one of them says, "We're here to talk to Esther Wright. We're here to talk to Moira Wright. Her sister is now a fugitive and is considered a dark witch." And in that moment, you see a lot of older Hufflepuff students starting to whisper to each other, and a lot of eyes turn to 2 people. A lot of eyes turn to Moira, the first year, who's a first year Hufflepuff, who's blushing red. And a lot of eyes also turn to Alison's brother, who's called Adrian, who is a friend of this Esther Wright, and let's see, Valerian, you pick up on the rumors very quickly that Esther Wright is a Hufflepuff, and that there has never in the history of wizardry before been a Dark Witch from Hufflepuff.
First time for everything.
Yeah. So what's and there's also going through the room saying that those people are Aurors, and that the youngest one of them with the hair going everywhere is the one and only Harry Potter. So, what do your characters do while McGonagall is having a discussion with these people?
I'm imagining I'm kind of like whispering, like, who's at the Ravenclaw table currently?
Aren't we all at the same table?
Yeah, I think we're all at Ravenclaw.
I think I misspoke, because by going to sit with Allison, I ended up at Hufflepuff table, right?
Unless we were sitting at
we all
the
at
Ravenclaw table with Valeria. I don't know.
Blue is the best color table, I'm just saying. How much would we know about the Wizarding world about this at this point? Like, if we've been reading a lot?
Because the war has been like such an important event, your characters would at least know like the big strokes of what's been happening in the Wizarding world. It's a bit more complicated for Rowan, I think, is the Muggle-born Pureblood. But it's up to you whether or not you've like read the news during the past few months.
Yeah, I'll say I've probably been like reading a lot, because I'm gonna imagine that he turned 11 probably sometime before the summer, so he already had his letter and kind of knew to read up a lot on it already.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of positioning, I feel like Hufflepuff table is kind of where the action is right now. What do you think? Would you rather be in a group, Allison?
No, I'm fine. Fine with it, of course.
Okay, so you're currently all at Ravenclaw, is that correct?
I think we're split. I think there's 2 of us at Hufflepuff and 2 of us at Ravenclaw.
Yeah, okay, so Wyndon and Addison are at Hufflepuff.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
I think that I'm at Hufflepuff then, because I was definitely going to sit with my ultimate bestie, Allison.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think so.
I'm mixing voices. I'm sorry.
So wait, so is everyone at Hufflepuff table?
Well, let's assume we are, and it will be easier.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. So you're all at the Raven. You're all in the middle of the whispering. This table seems split between complete disbelief that there could be a Dark Witch from Hufflepuff, and outrage that someone would be that like their age-old tradition of not being dark wizards is finally broken, and the Aurors wants to interrogate the young Moira alone, but McGonagall says that since she has been sorted, she is part of her school, so she will be there, and there to like, that McGonagall is going to be there for the entire process, and as the like young Moira starts to get up, she walks in front of where your characters are, towards where the horrors are. Do your characters do anything in particular?
I'll just kind of be like whispering it, like narrating it as I see it, kind of thing. I'll be like, "Oh man, that's Harry Potter. That's a bunch of horrors."
I think I'd be like asking Allison, "Are you okay?"
Well, I'm shocked. A dark wizard at Hufflepuff? There must have been a mistake. I wonder if my
Hang out with
brother
her?
knew this Esther person.
All right.
I thought your brother was really close to her.
You think so? How do you know that?
Listen, come on, it's not the first that your brother has been like, oh, Esther, you're so wonderful.
Well, you're always full of those rumors, Valeria. I don't know where you get them.
If they're
Get
true,
them
I'm just
from.
looking for some more information.
Now, before we keep going, I just want to say, I just want to bring your attention to the core moves. They're towards the top of your character sheet, and they're basically your hammers. Everything that goes on in the scenario should look like a nail. So don't hesitate to perceive something you're not supposed to when you're in a situation where you could come across some clues by either by accident or when you want to actively spy on someone. And break danger only trigger when there's a source of danger around you that you're trying to go up against. Breaking the rules is basically like every time that you're trying to do something that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise because of the rules or because of restrictions. And finding a way out is every time there's a situation that you don't want to be in, and there is an opportunity in the narration to escape this. And in order to land a hand, what you need to do is wait until one of the players does an action, and then if they're each of you can spend one camaraderie with this person in order to roll loyalty, and if you succeed, you give them a +1 on their roll, or a -3, or a -2. Sorry, if you are trying to prevent their action for their own good. You can also spend camaraderie with people to receive unexpected help. That includes NPCs. You can call upon NPCs to come and help you at a time when you've hit a wall. The trigger for this is basically when you're stuck in a situation and you don't necessarily know what to do, and you want to spend camaraderie to find a way out. And expose a secret is a very difficult move to. It's more difficult to pull off this move because in the books, trying to expose a secret is hard. A lot of people don't really trust 11-years old or just Hogwarts students enough to act upon their word, which is why there's we'll see how it works when you try to roll it, but it's difficult to get someone to both trust you and act upon it. And hit the library is every time that you are looking for information, you can go to and you have time to spend in the library, you can roll this. So these are going to be basically in Harry Potter. Those, as far as I know, are the things that the ways that characters move the plot forward in a fashion or another. And so that's what we've got. So just remember that you have those plus your playbook moves available to you. Yeah. Moira Wright leaves the room. The doors close behind him. You can see that even the teachers are partaking in rumor sharing. What do you do? If anything.
Being the nosy sort of kid I am, I'm gonna try to listen in.
Okay.
Whether that involves like leaning, or if that's not enough, I'll maybe kind of creep over and act like I'm talking to someone near them.
Okay. So what you want to do is roll to see something you're not supposed to.
That sounds about right.
All right. Go ahead and roll that, please.
Okay, so I think this is where extra pair of eyes might come in.
Yes, if you can describe that something a way in which what beasts might help you gather information, then you can get some then you get a +1.
That's a tough one. I should have thought about this more.
All right. So wait a second. What does your move say? If yeah. Oh, you have a magical creature with. Okay, so like just their presence is supposed to make it easier. Maybe for example, Mag would point to points you in the direction of two people talking who have like juicier information or something.
Yeah, maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm kind of actually like following her. Maybe it's not out of like my own nosiness. I'm just like trying to catch my kind of wild fairy again.
Okay.
And I get a little too close and overhear some stuff. I don't know.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and roll to perceive something you're not.
Okay. So there are no roll buttons for the statistics. So
Oh yeah. Did
what do I
when you
roll
go
instead?
no when you go down on your character sheet under the virtues, next to the core moves there is a dice icon. There's a dice button. You click the one that is to the side of receive unexpected help.
And then I input my loyalty as a modifier.
No, your 9. All right. So, the core moves perceive something you're not supposed to. When you spy,
Shouldn't that be an 11? I don't feel like it added it. I should have +2, right?
Yeah, that is. Wait, no, you clicked. You clicked the playbook move roll instead of the perceive something you're not supposed to.
Yeah, there's a little dice icon next to the.
Gotcha. Okay, I misunderstood. My bad. So that's an 11.
Yeah, that's an 11. All right. So when you spy on someone, potentially hidden information, roll plus cunning. On a hit, you obtain a solid clue. On a 10 plus, you get all 3 of these. So you don't get into trouble, so your house rank doesn't drop by 1. The clue you obtain is solid, clear, and true, and the source of the information doesn't get any information on you. I think you're going to get a solid clue, but not for the right mystery, but instead from something coming from the teacher's table. It's going to be a clue for Valeria's mystery. Yeah, you don't have to make. Right, you don't have to make any choice.
Wasn't I supposed to choose 3?
No, you get all 3 of the options.
Oh, okay.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. You get all 3 of the options. You don't get into trouble. The clue you obtain is solid, clear, and true, and the source of the information doesn't get information on.
Awesome.
Yeah, you only choose 2 if you roll the 7. So at the teacher's table, there's going to be Professor Greenwood. What is Professor Greenwood's first name? Either and like anyone can answer. Valeria or
What's the pronoun?
I think he's going to be.
He cut out.
Sorry, cut out.
Oh, I said he's going to be a he/him.
Okay. Let's go with Ian.
All right, Professor Ian Greenwood. Okay. So, yeah, you can see, like you over here, that he's talking with one of the ghosts. He's talking with the Bloody Baron, and they're talking about something that seems to have completely nothing to do with the right situation. But listening into a couple of to a couple of their like sentences, you understand how they strayed so far away from the subject so quickly. They're talking about conspiracy theories from the wizarding world, and basically like the Bloody Baron talking about how no, I was there, saw those events. He talks about like the fact that alchemists weren't around in the days of when the Hogwarts was founded, and Professor Ian Greenwood is making all of those wild, weird claims, and like a bit like when talking about her dad's theories, like very very weird conspiracy theories, and like they. You gather that they started talking about like the ministry and Aurors and how they're somehow like a corrupt group and how they've like strayed so far. So since this is a solid clue, Valeria, you can write down that Professor Greenwood believes in conspiracy theories inside of like under your core mystery
Okay.
as one of your clues. Okay.
Voldemort was an inside job.
Yeah, it's exactly something along.
Melt steel. My God.
Mm-hmm.
Melt steel.
Yeah, that's but in the wizarding world. So,
What a crazy conspiracy theory in a magical world would be.
oh yeah, no, it's like
Good.
the one that Luna Lovegood's father comes up. It's like so weird every time. Okay. Yeah, it's all of this rumor milling around doesn't stop the students from enjoying the feast though, and you have very delicious food in front of you. Are all of your characters accustomed to having this food this good in front of them?
I don't think so. I think maybe Wyndon eats from like the spectrum of magical type foods that is less appealing. Kind of like more weird traditions and things like that, stuff that you wouldn't want to eat if you had a choice.
All right, so maybe your family either uses like meats from magical creatures way too much, or not at all, or something along those lines. Maybe.
I think like they use them, but it's not always like the part of the animal that like would even be appealing for that, you know?
Okay.
Like he's eating some eyeballs in his day.
Gotcha. What about the?
You cut out.
Oh, I was asking what about the other. Hello? 1, 2. 1.
We gotcha.
I think that it sounds like Valeria's family is, fairly well off if they're friends with the Applebys. So, yeah, I think she's eaten house elf food before.
Okay.
Yes, and I think Alison obviously is used to good food on the table. Sure.
It's but by the time that's you're almost all done eating your second plate of extremely good food. By the time that Moira Wright comes back from him being interrogated, you can see that her there's some streaks along her cheeks as if she's been crying, and McGonagall is with her, holding her hand reassuringly until she drops her off at the Hufflepuff house table, where the Hufflepuffs all seem to be torn between asking her a lot of questions and avoiding, the presence of the sister of the first Dark Witch. And she takes her fork, and just before she can plant it in the mashed potatoes that she served herself at the beginning, the plates all clear and desserts appear. What do your characters do?
I think that having made my way back to the table and kind of like relay that information, obviously,
Okay.
that upon the desserts arriving, I would just like start mowing down and stop talking.
I think I feel a little badly for poor Moira. I mean, she doesn't deserve any of this. And so I'd like to use my class move to spread rumors that Moira is completely uninvolved with the sister, and honestly good anyway.
So the class moves usually trigger during one of the classes.
Okay.
When they get described, that's perfectly okay. I think that we can use this as a sort of segment where your character is spreading the rumors now, and when I describe the first class the next day, you can say that you do this in the that you finish spreading the rumors during the first class. Would that be okay?
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
So can I roll it?
I think we'll roll to see the results during the class. If that's fine with you. All right. Sorry, I didn't. Is that fine? Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. So soon all of your characters have eaten their share, and the prefects start to gather everyone around and lead you to your respective common rooms.
Sorry, can I interject?
Yeah.
I would. Can I see my brother in the Great Hall? Because I would like to see his reaction to the horrors and the whole situation. Can I see him?
Yeah, you can see that he seems extreme. Like he squints a lot at the horrors. Like he's one of the only people who's not wide-eyed looking towards Harry Potter, but instead suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and does he? When Moira returns, does he react at all? What does he act? What does he act like?
I think he's going to start getting up, but when he sees a lot of the eyes turning away from Moira and towards him, he realizes like he seems to he just sits back down and lowers his head, seeming to concentrate on his food only.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anything else?
Not from me, no.
Okay. Um. Which house is your brother in?
I would say Hufflepuff also.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Adrian Appleby.
Oh, McGonagall's the current headmaster. Headmaster.
Headmistress.
Right? Sure.
Yes.
All right, that was literally my only question.
Okay. Yeah. So, as you start to head to your respective common rooms, you let's see. I had notes for this. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so yeah, as you start to make your way to your respective common rooms, Alison, you're going to be quite surprised that the portraits along the walls seem not to be trying to talk to you as your family implied, but they seem to recognize you and to start whispering to each other as you pass by. Apparently intrigued at you more specifically than other new first years of Hufflepuff.
Oh, well, I try not to look them in the eyes because that's what grandmother said, not to engage them. I'm probably used to seeing portraits move and talk because having grown up in a wizarding home, but I'm obeying what my grandmother told me. No, it's not a good idea to talk to those strange portraits at Hogwarts.
Do your characters go to sleep immediately, or are you too excited to fall asleep quickly that night? What's your first time in your house rooms, respectively? Let's start with let's see. Have like a small turn. Like if you do anything particular time in the common room.
Who are we starting with? You cut up.
Yeah.
Oh, whoever wants to start.
Happy to. So, I think Wyndham has some responsibilities that other kids don't have as a tamer of beasts, magical and non-magical. He's got some chores, and one of them involves checking on his augury in the Owl Tower, and he's basically got to feed all of them and make sure they're cool.
All right. You get one of the prefects to actually, I think like you on the first day the owls are still in their cages during the first night, but the Hufflepuff the Gryffindor prefect promises to like bring you to the owlery next first thing in the morning. I was gonna like describe this afterwards. But yeah, you do feed all three of your magical beasts.
Okay, sorry to put you on the spot, but what's this Gryffindor prefect's name?
Let me return you the question. What is this Gryffindor prefect's name?
Jeez. Who's got ideas?
Could be Jenny.
Is she still going?
Yeah, she was 1 year behind them, wasn't she?
Yes, I think she was.
So maybe she's head girl or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good. All right. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna add her to the list of PCs. Actually, wait. Yeah. Wait, which one is the higher rank, prefect or head girl?
I think the girl is the highest.
Okay, perfect. All right. So,
I seem to have lost my sound.
Dane just lost his sound.
And we're back. So anything that was said in the last 30 seconds, please say it again.
Yes, sorry I interrupted you.
So we were doing, what's going on in Ravenclaw Tower. I think that first night in Ravenclaw Tower is always kind of a party because you have a bunch of people who are insanely curious about just about everything smushed together into one building. So it's kind of an all-night talk fest in probably the girls' dorm.
Nice.
Together. For Valeria, it's a lot of learning information that she files away for use elsewhere. That's kind of what's going on for her.
Yeah, nice. First of all, yeah, there's also like a lot of talking about how to about like the best ways to solve the riddles of the eagle to get in every day, and lots of other rooms. Do you want to trigger one of your rumors related moves apart from the class move?
Well, I don't have anybody that I want to deceive right now. And the other first-year Ravenclaws are going to have too much that I want to know about the rites, so I'm going to save that.
Okay. What about Rowan Reed, the other Ravenclaw?
I think he'll be kind of just like it's been a long day. I think he'll pretty much just pass her it out.
Okay. And Alison?
I think Alison is going around the common room at Hufflepuff Tower. Is it? Do you have a tower as well?
No. You're actually under the near the under the Great Hall.
Okay. So going around the common room, introducing herself to everybody and meeting everybody and making sure that everybody knows that she's her last name is Appleby and it's those Applebees, yes, and generally trying to mark her presence as early as possible because that's what she's supposed to do. She's an Appleby.
Nice. Would your grandma have told you and start looking for people whose names start in A to add to the family?
Well, yes, I suppose so. It's the way of the family, so I know of this tradition, and yes, I'm on the lookout already.
All right, perfect. Okay, the next morning we're going to introduce the two mysteries that couldn't have like been introduced at the very beginning. So some of you make your way to the Great Hall for a little bit of breakfast. Some of you head towards the Owlery. Rowan Reed is going to head to the library to spot this this first year's book. Let's do everyone's scenes, and then we're going to start with the first class, which is going to be History of Magic for some of you. Okay, so let's start with Rowan Reed. You make your way to why are you making it?
I'm gonna say so history for magic is our first class.
Yes.
All right. Just do a bit of light reading beforehand, so more or less because he likes to be right.
Okay.
So like to know the answers ahead of time.
All right. So yeah, you make your way there, and you find and you see that like in the clearly marked forbidden section of the library, there's just this. Out of the forbidden library. Dane's sound is off.
It's back. Could you make your way to the library from there?
Yeah.
Could you repeat
He
that?
sees the Defense Against the Dark first year book that's part of his mystery just laying there, and there is a what's it called? And there's dust on the floor from nobody going in the forbidden section during the entire summer vacation. That is disturbed by a series of footsteps going in and back out of the forbidden section. So what do you do?
All right. Does it have a name in it at all? I know.
You opened the book and yes, there is a name, but there's something onwards. You can read the family name, but for some reason, the which is clearly magical to you, you can't read the first name. The family name is Wright.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
I've heard that name before.
Yep. It's behind the bars of a library, but still close enough for you to reach it with your hands and pick up the book.
Yeah, I'll grab it and slip back out quickly.
Okay.
So I imagine there's a giant sign that says, "You're not going here."
Yeah. First year is absolutely forbidden.
Make sure to do the double take first. Make sure there's nobody there.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you would like to research? Hitting the library is what charges up, is what allows you to use the rest of your bookworm moves.
All right. So let's see here.
If there's any subject you want to research, you could roll this. If not, if you don't need time to think about it, we can just move on to the next.
The next person, not 100% sure yet.
All right. So we're going to do Wyndon's the start of Wyndon's mystery, and then we're going to go back to the two who are heading to get breakfast. Wyndon, you alongside Ginny and the Gryffindors who have owls, make your way towards the owlery, and all of your birds seem to be getting along, looking at each other nicely, like. As soon as you enter the owlery, a lot of the owls just simply take flight out of the tower and only come down from their panic after a couple of minutes, and none of them go near the perch where you sit down. What was? Wait, no, that's not Rowan, it's Wyndon. Where you sit down.
Horace.
Oh, yeah, Horace, the augury. What do you do?
So you say that the owls all quiet down, essentially?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, and a lot of them are sharing perches to be able to not be close to your augury, but yes, they call that.
Alright, I kind of look over them and I'm like, He's really very nice, and I'm kind of like petting Horace a little bit.
Horace seems like his demeanor, you can pick up on because you're a tamer and you're very close to your magical beast. He seems confused about this.
Alright, I kind of look at Jenny and was like, are owls always so standoffish?
She says, she says, that's weird. Maybe it's because maybe it's because to there being a different type of bird here. Don't worry. Horace will probably make friends with the other owls very quickly. And like she gives you a reassuring smile.
Yeah, he probably just needs time to fit in. And he smiles back at her. Thanks for bringing me here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's my job as head girl, and like yeah, she you see her like looking upwards towards the owls, and she says, "Have you ever wondered what it's like to fly?"
Yes. Isn't that something I get to do?
Yes, it's you're gonna see it's really exhilarating here. I remember my first brooms lesson like it was yesterday. I'm gonna be a professional Quidditch player someday.
Really? That's amazing.
Well, if I make it, I'm really hoping to get into the Harpies when I get out of Hogwarts. And
Whoa.
like she sees that some of the some of the other figures are like messing around with some of the birds, so she goes to like take care of this, and we fade to the Great Hall. There we have Alison and Valeria both entering the Great Hall at about the same time to get breakfast. Where do you sit?
Together.
Always with Allison, or as often as I can with Allison. I kind of view Valeria as perhaps not that much of a morning person, and definitely not after spending all night the previous night talking with the other Ravenclaws. So she looks a little bit worse for the wear this morning as she sort of plops herself down at a table and starts grabbing a couple pieces of toast.
Okay. What about Alice? What about Alison?
Well, Alison, I think she didn't stay up late, so she's had some a healthy amount of sleep, and well, she's in a good mood as usual, and she's starting to eat like some, I don't know, porridge maybe, something light.
Oh,
Valeria's going to keep an ear open for anybody talking about the rights. Do I need to make a perception roll or anything like that?
yeah, I think you can perceive something you're.
Let me open my character sheet. Let's try that. Perceive something I'm not supposed to know about. All right. Let's see. All right, I got a 10.
All right, perfect. So on a 10 plus, you get all three. You don't get into trouble for listening in, so your health strength doesn't drop by one. The clue you obtain is solid, clear, and true. The source of the information doesn't get any information on you. So this clue is going to be geared, I think, towards the overarching mystery of this game. So all like any of you can write it down in your clues if you'd like. Yeah, some people are have opened the Daily Prophet and they are reading about the charges being brought against Esther Wright. She is being accused of a lot of different things, a lot of charges at once. There's attack against ministry personnel. There's revealing the existence of wizards to muggles, abusing magic against muggles, and a lot of people are, since the article, since the ministry hasn't released the circumstances of those charges, a lot of people are speculating as to how all of those charges fit together.
Okay, so I'll sort of keep that in the back of my mind, and since I was planning on move later, this sort of informs that.
There's also going to be a practice of dark magic in the like allegations. Okay, so that's the clue that you obtain. As the other two player characters arrive in the great room, Filch, the caretaker, is going to start handing out schedules to all of you based on your houses, and the entire time he's just grumbling about the fact that now everybody is sitting in different places, so he can't just hand out one type of so he has to not only ask which year everyone is in, but also which house they're in before he hands things out. So we're going to have to do like something real quick in terms of games mechanics right now. It's the classes. Basically, every class has only two houses together in this class. Okay, so every time that we play that I describe a class, only two of the characters are going to be there, while the other player character is going to be in another in another class currently. So what this means is that basically in this game there's going to be three classes that are going to be important and that are going to get described often, because those three classes match the themes that I'm going for with my campaign. And since there's three of you, each house is going to be in two of the classes and won't be present to participate in the scenes when we describe the other ones. So real quick, who wants to be in History of Magic? Who wants to be able to actively take part in the class as things happen in it?
I'd like to be in History of Magic. Is that okay with you, Rowan?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so History of Magic is going to be, and then it can be, and the second one is going to be showing this class.
You just cut out perfectly to not say anybody's names for me.
Oh, Ravenclaws or.
Yeah, okay. Ravenclaws are in History of Magic.
Yeah.
And the other two are not.
No. And one of the other two is. Okay. So either Alison Alison, do you want to be able to like take part actively in the scenes that are going to be history of magic classes, or does Wyndon want to take part in the history of magic class? I think it might be interesting for Wyndon. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
It's not his best subject. We'll just start with that.
okay. So the Hufflepuff. You still get to play to either listen in class or play your move, which will say that you're in a different class when you're doing this. What about the defense in the dark arts? Who wants to be able to do this one?
That's very much Wyndon's deal.
Okay, so Gryffindors, which means you're going to be in charms. Now. Who is not going to be in this class? Hufflepuffs or Ravenclaws?
I kind of want to do dark defense of the dark arts.
Who said that?
Roman? So Ravenclaw.
Yeah, is that? Wait, hold on a second. Actually that would cause a problem. Then there'd be two of you who couldn't be in charms. So I actually have to put Hufflepuff here.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. If that's fine with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright. Hufflepuff. And that means that charms is going to be Hufflepuff and Ravenclaws. Okay. So you each head off to your different classes. So I'm going to. So what we're going to when this happens is that I start off saying like what the class is going to be about, and then each of you has a choice. You can either listen in class and then or play your class move. If you listen in class, you mark experience, which is at the top of your character sheet. Once you've marked the 4 experiences, you can select one of the advances for your playbook. Another way to gain experience is to lower your house rank by 1. We'll get to this really soon. And so yeah, every character gets to choose if they are going to play their class move or listen in class. Even the persons who are not here, but we can say that they're in potions or something. So, real quick, you can see that Professor Greenwood enters the room storming and like angry looking, and he writes his name on the chalkboard really quickly, like with a lot of vigor. And then he turns to the class and he's going to say, now, I would usually start this class with what the curriculum says, talking about the starts of the starts of the history of magic. But but it seems that there is a lot of deception concerning the alchemists and their presence in the early days of Hogwarts. So we're going to be talking about this today. So what are your quickly, Valeria, are you going to use your class move or listen in class?
I'm going to use my class move.
Okay.
So
yeah, can you read it for us?
Sure thing. So my class move is spreading rumors. You sit at the center of a web, catching rumors like flies all class long. You can also spread new ones, true or false, nice or mean. Choose one. It's loud enough for them to overhear. I can get the juicy news, or I can spread a destructive rumor about someone.
Okay.
Hufflepuffs are in this class. I would prefer to get the juicy news. So,
Okay.
yeah, I want to keep on overhearing what people are saying or whispering as our professor starts in on a topic that wasn't exactly on our syllabus.
All right. Okay. So, gotcha. By the way, you mentioned you wanted to also do counter rumors for to go in Moira's defense. I think.
That's kind of what I was taking it as, but I guess when I saw class move, I just misinterpreted it.
No, you that could be with enough for them to overhear. It could be starting positive rumors about her, and then you could be marking camaraderie.
Yeah, then I'd rather mark camaraderie with Moira. So the rumor that I'm going to be spreading along is that what little evidence they have, either through the Daily Prophet or the Oars, that her sister was involved in anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nailed down.
Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, so you can write Moira writes in your relationships and add one camaraderie with her. That's perfect. Rowan.
Yep, I'm going to.
Hold on. Rowan, you're in this class as well.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm probably going to. I'm probably just going to pay attention to this one.
So mark experience. Alison, you're also here.
In history, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, sorry, you're not here. You're having potion.
Yeah.
Would you listen in class or would you move in potion?
Listen, I think listen.
Okay, so you mark experience. Wyndon, you're here.
He does his best to pay attention. I mean, he's kind of more interested in the rumors than the class, honestly, but he tries, so.
All right. Okay, so for the people who are listening, you're going to realize that this that this new History of Magic teacher is much more interesting than the previous one, but also his version of history seems strange. And so he starts off with this. Hey, magic. Where does it come from originally? There are ideas floating around, but I think that it's always nice to ask young minds what they think. Where could magic have come from in the first place? Anyone?
Wyndon tentatively raises his hand.
Yes, you.
I heard that maybe it came from another planet. You know, like an asteroid.
Yes. So he starts to write it down on the chalkboard. He writes external magical material. An idea is that something could have a source of magic, something physical could have started to change the creatures that came near it, including some humans. That's why, and I think he's going to point at your measles saying that's why some magical creatures are parents to or can reproduce with some non-magical creatures like measles and cats. And another theory. Anyone else?
Is I think she heard asteroid and just started just drawing in her notebook. There's just this. There's a rough sketch of a planet Earth and just this streaking asteroid coming into it. She's definitely not paying attention.
Okay. All right. So there's going to be a. Let's see. There's going to be there's a Gryffindor who is much taller than the other 11 years old, and who's almost as tall as Professor Ian Greenwood, who's sitting towards the front of the class. And despite the fact that his face looks as young as yours, it's already sporting some traces of facial hair. And what is this Gryffindor's name? Let's see. Wyndon, you're the other Gryffindor. What is this tall Gryffindor's name?
Toby Tree.
Okay. All right, Toby Tree, the very tall Gryffindor. I've added him to the list of NPCs. He says, my dad says there's, and like he has this very deep voice, not very suited to his baby face. And he says, my dad says wizards have a lot of wizards and witches have a lot of names of gods because some people think that gods had children with mortals, and that gave them the power to change things like the gods do. And you see Greenwood immediately writing this on the chalkboard and saying, "Yes, that's absolutely correct. Your potions teacher, Mr. Horace Slughorn, is named after an Egyptian god." And like he starts to mention like there's a lot of Harry Potter characters who are named after gods or constellations, and then he's going to write down a third theory that magic actually comes from magical creatures who could have come from magical creatures who contaminated humans. And he says, he sits on his desk and says, so there's this theory going around that alchemists were the first to be able to use magic because they found magical creatures and used ingredients from them and from magical plants to make potions that changed them forever, that changed them into who they are. The theory goes that they took into their bodies parts of magical creatures, like a few magical creatures that transformed them into wizards, dragons, phoenixes, and unicorns, and those are the three wand cores that are the three main wand cores that are used to create wands. Because as the theory goes, something of the magic within the wizards that they absorb from those creatures responds to what is inside of the wand. So it's believed that alchemists who became notorious only much later in history with Nicholas Flamel were actually the first ones to be able to cast magic. And for example, we can find some properties of those magical inside of wizards. So, for example, the unicorn. When a person drinks unicorn blood, they become much more long-lived, and wizards are always much more long-lived than muggles. So, for the next lesson, I want each of you to write on one scroll of parchment your ideas of what magical properties that differentiate us from muggles wizards have inherited from dragons and phoenixes. And after that, he's going to dismiss the class. What are your characters going to do after classes? or as you're leaving?
What do we have next? I guess is a relevant question.
I think for the purposes of presenting, we're going to say that you have nothing left. You're free. All of you are free until lunch, and then you have other classes. So we are going to actually be triggering the downtime move. But I just want to know what your first actions are before. Oh wait, yeah, before we start rolling for the downtime move.
I guess Wyndon wants to go up to the professor
Mm-hmm.
and be like, does that mean that I have maybe I could talk to unicorns or dragons and things like that?
And he maybe that could be one of the answers, but if it was the case, me answering would be giving you the answer to to what you're supposed to research for the next lesson.
Oh, I didn't know it was part of that. I just was curious.
And he says it's quite possible to learn to learn how creatures communicate, but they don't usually communicate in the same way as using words, but other gestures, squawks, the shouts of their species. And there are some potions that allow you to understand some animals, including merfolks.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
I'll have to pay more attention in potions class. Thank you, Professor.
You're very welcome, my boy. Yeah. What about the other characters?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go for it. I apologize.
Yeah, I was going to raise my hand for this one and ask. So, if wizards are all descended from magical creatures, how does that explain Muggleborns?
It's not necessarily descended. Some wizards are descended from villas, for example. That's why villa hair can be used as wand cards from them. But it's the fact that some muggles, the theory goes that some muggles drank potions that had bits and pieces of dragons, phoenixes, and unicorns that changed them. They're not descendants. They're just the theory goes magical properties from them. And the people who didn't do that, well, the state unable to use magic. That's where the muggles would be coming from.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Wyndon's mind is blown.
Poking Rowan and saying, do you know how is this our history class? How are we going to research this? This sounds like I wasn't expecting.
Using the library? Although, it doesn't seem like something we were researching if it's just a theory.
Well, I guess at that point it doesn't really matter if we just make it up.
Creative writing.
Can I come with you? I'm not real good at this.
Definitely come with
It's
us.
fine. It's fine. I can do the writing.
All right. I think Toby is going to come over to your group and say, "Wow, that was exciting! I didn't know that wizards could be descended from magical creatures."
Me neither. It's pretty cool though. The professor, I think he said that maybe I could talk to unicorns and stuff. So I'm gonna try that.
All right. I wonder what sort of if there are other like this in people's lineage, and like while he's wondering this, he's gonna like head off towards the library probably.
I think maybe someone might be part giant. Valerius is quietly trying not to be rude. But once he's kind of gone past, she sort of says to the others, "Do you think he might be part giant?"
And it says it's not nice to talk about it.
And like you can see that other kids, especially the Gryffindors, are already like talking about that. But Toby Tree seems completely unaware of like he seemed to be really wondering about the possibility of magical ancestry.
Okay. I think maybe Wyndon's met a half giant at one point. So he's a little less taken aback by it.
Okay. Okay, let's trigger the downtime move. So the way that this move works is that the first person, the person with the lowest house rank, should roll first. At the beginning of the game, every house that has player characters start at house rank 4. But as soon as someone raises their house rank, they're going to go to the highest available spot. And afterwards, whenever a house rank is raised or lowered, they switch places between them. Since Slytherin has no player characters inside of it, the first house, the only house that has a placement right now is Slytherin. Towards the bottom of your character sheet, you can write that the first house is Slytherin. All of you are currently in 4th place, which means all of you can roll in the order that you prefer. You can notice that there are penalties associated with the different ranks. Basically, each house is treated differently depending on their placement inside of the like amount of points that they have available. So you get different hex for being in a different placement, which gives you a penalty to one of the core moves. So you always have one that is supposed to be checked. So right now, all of you can check towards the top of your character sheet that you're all technically scored. Yes? Wait, did I?
You cut out, yeah.
I was just saying all of you could check the -2 to the scolded hex towards the top of your character sheet. Real quick, the reasons why you get the different them, and then we're gonna start rolling for downtime. The lowest rank gives you a -2 to break the rules, since your own housemates try to keep you from losing more points. The second lowest has -2 to expose a secret, since adults are less likely to think much of rumors coming from one of the houses lagging behind, and other students think that you're just trying to start trouble among the others to get an advantage. The second highest gets a -2 to perceive something you're not supposed to, since students and teachers are more careful around you and your housemates, and the highest in the ranks are wary of you, and the ones under you are trying to copy you. And the first rank get a -2 to receive unexpected help, as the other houses try to outdo you instead of thinking of helping you. Why would you need help when you're already at the top? Okay. When you roll the downtime move, you roll plus your house rank. the lagging behind, the more pressure there is to do things in your downtime, and so the more chance you have of succeeding in this move. Who would like to start with the
Go
downtime?
first.
All right.
Just my downtime. So let me take a look at where my downtime moves were. Okay. So I just roll first, or were there like specific things that I could do during the downtime?
Okay. Where did I? Wait. Oh, it didn't write it here. Why isn't it here? Okay, my bad. Give me 1 second. It should be in here, but it isn't currently. Right. So
The playbooks. Yeah.
yeah. I should have made I'm going to put it as the first move in the basic moves. The players roll in the order of rank. I think it's. I think I mentioned that it's which one should it be? Should it be like? I think it should be like the highest houses go first. You roll plus your house rank. On a 10 plus, you get 3. You can choose each option multiple times. So you can recover in the infirmary to clear all of your hexes. You can make friends to gain camaraderie with any of the NPCs or player characters. You can study to mark experience. You can please the teachers to raise your house rank by 1, or in this case, just take the second take the second place. You can prepare for the worst, which means you'll be able to use the Paragon option for a move once, and you can keep an eye out to receive a single clue. So you've got 3 options since you rolled 10.
I haven't rolled 10 yet. That was on my previous roll. So let me make my roll and see what we can actually do.
Go ahead.
Could you copy paste those somewhere, because I do better with that.
Yeah, I copy pasted it in the basic moves.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was away for 1 second.
It's okay. So since you rolled a 7 or 9, you can choose 1, Victoria.
I would like to make friends with Toby.
Okay. So when you select one of the options, describe really quickly how you get, how you reach the point where you get what the move gives you. So what are you bonding over with Toby?
I see that Toby was really enthusiastic about this, and he kind of seemed a little alone after class, so I'm going to run after him and ask if he wants to come to the library to do homework with us.
And yeah, he says, yeah, I'd love to. I'm so glad someone is finally talking to me. I feel like everybody is weirded out by the fact that I'm a bit taller than everybody. But it's not. But don't worry, I'll be careful not to step on you.
Thanks. No, like they're just jealous. They can't be as cool as you are. So come hang out with us. You know, we're gonna get a good start on the homework.
And like you can see, there are stars in his eyes. Like as soon as you take this, and he says, "Oh boy, Ravenclaws are so nice." Okay, see.
Friends.
Okay. So yeah, go. You can mark camaraderie with him. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next.
All right.
Let's see here. 9.
Wow, 9. So you only get to choose. Everybody was rolling so well in the previous games. I don't understand.
I know, it's awful. All right,
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm going to. If I can find it again.
Here it is.
All right. I'm going to go make friends.
Okay. With
And,
whom?
Moria or Moria right.
Okay. Okay, so we've established she's a Hufflepuff, which means she wouldn't have been in this class. I think, yeah, I think,
if she's a Hufflepuff, never mind. I thought they were in our class. Apparently, it was Gryffindor. So I'm gonna go study and start working on this little thing that we're going to be working on.
okay. So you can both mark experience and or go to the library. You can roll to hit the library to get a bit of information if you'd like.
All right. Library. There it is. 12.
Wow, 12. Okay. So, hit the library. When you research a subject not consigned to the forbidden section and you have enough time, roll plus wits. On a hit, you get information on the subject. On a 10 plus, you choose 2. You obtain a solid clue. The GM must point out a subtle clue that was previously placed in the narration. You get +1 to act on the information obtained, and clear a hex thanks to a helpful book. You cannot clear the hex given to you by the position of your house, which means you've got to select another option than this. You choose 2.
All right. I'll obtain a solid clue for the first one, and have you done subtle hints yet? Have you done subtle hints yet?
Yes, I have done a couple.
Right.
So you can. Okay, so you're going to be confirming a clue and gaining a new one. So first of all, real quick, you because standing roll to hit the library. Wait, hold on. You are the person rolling this was Mura. You are playing the bookworm. Yeah. So at the bottom of your character, in extra information, you can write that you're holding free because of the bookworm move. A study all night. When you hit the library, you hold free. That helps you activate the other moves. So because of your outstanding role, you're able to find that the theory, something about the theory of the alchemists, who mentioned that the ability gained from phoenixes is the ability of rebirth that manifests in some wizards. Rebirth by fire for phoenixes is actually mirrored by the cold by the ghosts who are as intangible as fire is, and it's also theorized that the dragon's magical breath was transmitted to the wizards with their ability to cast spells by pronouncing the words that are associated with it, by breathing the spell out of them, just like dragons breathe out magical fire. Okay, you're also going to get a new clue. Let me see what I can give you that has to do with this and what I can confirm from previous, what I've previously written. So give me 1 second. Okay. You're going. I think you're also going to be researching like something else. Charms. You're going to be researching a bit of charms. You're going to confirm a clue that I've already given previously. There are charms that can protect information from people, stopping them from reading things and discovering information. The Fidelius charm is able to stop people from reading things, and that is the subtle clue that I was giving you when you couldn't read the name of what's it called, of the book on the book that you found in the Forbidden. So the name on the cover cannot be read Delius chart. That is one of your clues. And which one are you going to get that is a new clue? I've got ideas for all of the different mysteries except for Victoria. Sorry, I didn't have time to get all.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, while researching for the phoenixes, you find out that phoenixes are and their cousins, the what are they called? The auguries can sometimes be tamed to be very aggressive hunters, and that is going to be a clue for Wyndon's mystery.
So,
All right.
how does this work? Is that information automatically shared with me because I'm writing it down?
I think you can write it down, and once your characters open up each other about the different mysteries you're trying to solve, these informations will be shared. Is that fine with everyone?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Next up on the list, we're going to have somebody else roll for the downtime move. Who wants to go next?
I will, since it's kind of library related.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time they're studying, pretty much, like, Wyndon's going on about how great that class is, and, like, he seems to intermittently notice, like, they're not paying much attention to him, like, they're trying to read or whatever, but then he'll start up again after reading for, like, 30 seconds, and he's just kind of excitable and a little bit irritating. So, what I'm doing is I'm talking up my professor and trying to raise my house rank by 1. Please the teachers.
Yeah, please the teachers. You have multiple, because you rolled 12, go ahead and roll your downtime move, and then we'll see how many options you get.
Oh,
Sorry,
right.
I thought you...
I skipped that part, didn't I? Okay.
Yeah. There's a downtime button, and... Okay, 12. So you do get to choose 3.
Sweet.
So you can not only please the teachers to other stuff.
Okay, so I think was it Victoria made her way back over from talking to our gentle giant friend. Wyndon kind of like gave him a smile and a wave, and tried to make him feel welcome. So I'm gonna say maybe make friends. Like he feels comfortable talking to Wyndon now, maybe. He definitely pleases the teachers, and he does his best to study.
Okay, so you mark experience, you mark camaraderie with. Is it Toby or Valeria that you're marking camaraderie with?
I think Toby, unless you think it was more meaningful to her than him.
I think Toby's good. So you can so you can write camaraderie with. It's basically it's up to you who you want to mark camaraderie.
Okay. I'll go with Toby since it was more directly him.
Yeah. Okay. You can write experience, and you are a Gryffindor, which means everybody on your character sheet you can write that the second house is currently Gryffindor, and it's going to be between who raises their house rank first, who is going to get the third place. So I think it's time for
Alison.
Alison to roll the downtime.
So I roll the downtime button, yes?
Yes.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Do I remove Scolded and add the other one relevant to being in second place?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Exposed. Okay, so you rolled 11 to choose 3 options on the list.
Okay, I would like to raise my house rank, for sure.
Okay. So you're going to be pleasing the team.
Yes, I'm socializing with everyone. I'm reminding them about my father, who used to go to Hogwarts, and about my uncles and aunts and everyone. I'm just trying to make make everyone aware that there's another Applebee in the house.
Okay. Oh, I have a question for you. Are there families of other families who try to have their children's name start with an A on purpose to get together with to try to get together with the Appleby family?
Well, I hope not. I hope it's our tradition only.
No, but like they know about your. They try to like arrange a marriage ahead of time. You know,
to name their children this way so that they can be potentially as a candidate for us.
Yeah.
I hope. Well, I would say so because it's a very esteemed family with a very long tradition and filthy rich, like I said. So I suppose it would be possible.
Maybe there's like a Astrid or something after your brother.
Sorry, is there what?
Maybe there's someone after your brother in terms of like you had a sibling, right?
Yes, an older brother.
Yeah, maybe someone's trying to like lock that down.
Maybe. Who knows? He's much older than me, so he wouldn't tell me anyway.
Okay,
it's not impossible, of course.
Let's make that an NPC. Who would have been to get together with your brother because of the family pressures since the first year? Let's come up with a name that starts with A.
Agnes.
Okay. And family name?
Agnes Frost.
Okay. All right. Named so.
Little does she know that my brother is the black sheep of the family, so I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, I don't think that's very successful all of these years. Okay. What other 2 options do you select for your downs?
Okay, I would. Let's see. I would like to make some friends, maybe.
Okay.
And so, do I come up with someone?
You can either create a that we haven't talked about yet, and like introduce someone, or you can look at the list of NPCs or raise camaraderie with one of the other characters.
Okay, so I know. I would like to meet the prefect of my house.
Okay.
And I would say she's a 5th year, and her name is Heather. Can she be a Heather?
Yeah.
So I make sure that I quickly introduce myself to her and try to get in her good graces because I treat her as a part of the establishment at the Hufflepuff house, like I am, of course, by birth. So we should probably get to know each other and maybe stick together on some level. Of course, she's a fifth year and I'm a first year, so I don't know how much she shares that outlook, but that's what I'm trying to do.
All right. Yeah, I think. What's her? What's Heather's family name?
Family name? Oh Lord. Heather.
Oh, how about Shacklebolt? We can like use, we can use family names from the
From the books.
Yeah, from the books, if it would make sense for like characters to either have cousins or.
Okay. So she's related to the famous Auror.
To the famous Auror who's soon to be Minister of Magic.
Oh, right. Yes, so this makes her even more important in my eyes. So of course I try to get close to her.
Okay. How the hell do you write Shacklebolt?
I'll type it in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much. I've been rereading the books to prepare for this game, but it's actually my wife who's been reading them to me, so I have no idea how it sells.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And one more.
Wait, you tried to raise your house rank by 1, and you made friends.
Make friends. And maybe just study and mark another experience.
Okay.
We're racking up experience pretty fast in this game.
Yeah. You get to.
It's not a problem for you.
Oh no! It's a good thing. Spent on this game so far, it seems pretty consistent with other powered by the games.
Yeah.
How quickly experience is marked. So I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page. On your character sheets, there should be Slytherin first, Gryffindor second, Hufflepuff third, and Ravenclaw last. And you should all have marked the hex that is corresponding to your house's position.
Mistrust. Okay, got it.
Okay.
So every one of us has one hex only.
Yes.
Okay.
And everyone is constantly going to have at least hex from this position, and the rest can happen when you brave danger or when you roll under 7, which nobody's done so far. I haven't had the opportunity to use GM moves much. Okay, just give me 1 second before we move on to the next scene.
Would you want to do a quick break?
Yeah, I just need to figure going to based on the different mysteries, or if anyone of you wants to do something in particular, we can also do that. If you have moves that you'd be interested in playing before the last scene of today's game.
Yeah, since we were kind of all looking at books about phoenixes, I kind of want to my mind is kind of focused on my own phoenix and his little social problem. Can I learn anything about that?
You can roll to hit the line and try to understand this problem a little bit better. 6. So that is the first fail of the game. Congratulations. let's see. Hit the library. Okay. So you don't. So the happening on a fail. So I have to make something happen. Give me 1 second. Oh, I know. You are going to get expelled from the library by Miss Pence, Madam Pence, I think she's called, because one of your beasts is going to damage a book very slightly. Which of your creatures is it, and how do they? Not necessarily damage, but like like yeah, like and some sort causes some sort of problems with the books.
I think like I was keeping such a close eye on Mab that I forgot about Percival, and Percival started scratching on one particular book, and that got me kicked out of the library, saying things like, "But he didn't mean it. He's really very well behaved," and things like that, and it's kind of adorable and sad, but I'm expelled.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So you don't have the opportunity to do much more research with the rest of them. And where would you head?
I'm sorry, you cut out. I'm sorry, you cut out for 1 second.
Oh, it's okay. Where would you cut off to? Where would you go off to after that?
I suppose it's getting close to lunchtime. I just sort of like go and wait and sort of like sulk and like think about trying to do some homework, but then think better of it.
Okay. As you are walking through the corridors, you're going to notice that there is. You're going through like a staircase, one of the moving ones, and you notice that there is this painting that is much bigger than all of the other ones around it. Like it's like 3 meters tall, and it's taking a lot of space on the wall. And the frame seems to have like gold leaves on the wood that's decorated, and it shows this magnificent wizard with in an apple orchard. Just waving his wand around and making making all of the trees blossom, and he has this like magnificent blonde mane, and you see that it's the name of and you see that marked beneath it, like marked on to the bottom of the frame is the name of one of the first of the line of the Applebys. Alison, what is the first of your lines? It's Arcturus.
Arcturus,
Right?
yes.
Yes.
The founder of my house.
Yes. He has the biggest
The biggest what?
The biggest what?
painting.
Okay.
Okay. So Wyndon, who had been in the middle of explaining to Percival why it was unfortunate that he chose to do what he did and why he shouldn't do it again, kind of like stops and puts his hands on his hips and is sort of like awed by the thing. And he says, "One day I hope I can be just like that." Kind of to his cat.
All right. Yeah. So everyone, it's getting close to the time when we would usually start this game. I'd like for us to stop just a bit early for this first game and talk a bit about the how the game, like how the game mechanics worked out for you, and if you feel that they helped you or hindered you to get back into the world of Harry Potter. And like any impressions that you have, positive or negative, is a welcome feedback for me to like make the game better. Is everyone okay with stopping here for today?
Yes.
Okay. So what's yeah? Do you have any remarks or impressions that you'd like to share?
It's actually pretty tight for the most part. Like, it's pretty good.
Thank you. I must say I've had like a ton of fun GMing this. I really feel like I'm managing to like just infuse the narration with histories while also trying to make it feel like Hogwarts. And like you guys are a lot of fun to play with.
I really enjoy it as a powered by game because I know there's a lot of really bad powered by games, and they can sort of what your players, or even as a GM, what your GM would want. This one feels like it plays really smoothly. Your core moves make sense. The only feedback I would offer is just to clarify that a class move is in the classroom. When I read it, I thought of it as class, kind of like my playbook class,
Okay.
as this is what I do in the classroom. But other than that, everything was really smooth. I especially liked how you input the houses and house rank as a mechanic. I never would have expected a game to do that, and I thought it was really awesome.
Thank you very much.
If I may, I really think the playbooks and the moves and all the mechanics are really great. I really like all of this. If I can just make a personal note here, that's just my personal preference for games like this. I would like maybe for there to be some more scenes where we are all together and have a chance to talk to each other and build some relations between our characters, because I didn't feel that much of it this time. Of course, I'm aware it was just the first game and we needed to establish a lot of things, but it's just maybe something for the future.
Yeah. I'm going to be more careful not to have the classes take too much of the time. I just thought that, but like the rest of the time, I think the more your characters grow to be like a group of friends, the more the more you're going to be spending time together. Like every time that you're out of the classes, I think it's. Because of the way that the classes are supposed to happen at Hogwarts, with there being only 2 houses per each individual class, it always excludes someone as soon as there is more than as soon as there are players in more than 2 houses. So that's why I'm gonna. It's a bit like. And like it's the first time that I played with a group of players that were in more than 2 houses, so I'm like trying it out as well.
No, but that was fine with the classes. I didn't mind that. I just would like for us to have a chance to talk to each other, maybe after classes or between classes. Just a few minutes here and there to just talk to each other and to play our characters, to get the feel for our characters also this way, because that's how you get into your character, just to role play it. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. basically, I've got to like be more careful to let you like do that because I go into I go into a lot of descriptions because like there's a lot going on in the like in J.K. Rowling's works. Like imitate this, but yeah, I feel like I try to write it so that each move is an opportunity for to do something together, and I shouldn't just push on to the next thing every time that you roll. Instead, I should just let you role play more. I'm sorry if I've done this as well.
No,
Yeah.
we're just getting the feel for the moves as well, so it's completely fine.
Okay.
I think it'll take some time for us to get used to the moves and how we can use them in game, because I wasn't really sure how to trigger some of those. But maybe that's just my tentative self.
Yeah, I think first sessions are always like that, though. Like,
Yes,
kind
of
of
course.
still getting a feel for the system again. It's been a bit since I played an Apocalypse World game, so just getting there.
I have two.
Sessions on Starfire are always awkward.
Of course.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I feel like from that I've ran, some of the core moves don't trigger like as often as they could because because like there aren't always the opportunities in each game for them to trigger. So like it's me as well who's got to like get used to the moves that I wrote to give the opportunities for them to happen. And like Expose the Secrets doesn't really happen the first couple of games, but it starts to get more and more used, just like Brave Danger as the story goes on.
I had a couple of things. I did enjoy it very much, but I had a couple ideas. One could be, and I know you're aiming for the exact Hogwarts experience, but given the nature of our group, and because we picked, three first years, or I mean, three different houses of first years right after the events that kind of decimated attendance, maybe we could get stuck together. The other thing was that if we were to all roll downtime at the same time, we might be able to kind of roleplay together a little more as we're doing things. I don't know. However, that could work out.
Okay. The reason that the downtime move is to get the people who are in the lowest rank the opportunity to raise their rank after everyone's already played in order for things in order to like shake things up a little bit more. That's why it's not everyone rolling at the same time.
But maybe it on a 10 plus it should be choose 2 instead of 3. Maybe it takes a little too much time to choose 3 options, and every player then gets to choose all those options, and maybe it drags a little bit.
Gotcha. I want to keep it at 3 for now. We might like start getting faster at doing this the more we play, and maybe
yes, of course.
Yeah, I did like I think like you've tested out some more before I changed it.
Right.
That's fine with you?
Yes, of course.
I guess just what I was saying is, I felt like I was more adding on to other people's scenes during the downtime than having my own, like, because I went along with that group, and they're like doing their study thing, and then I'm just like, okay, well, I'll do what I do as a reaction to that, but I'm not really a part of it, is all I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I get
think
that.
that if we allowed that scene to go on, I probably would have reacted to Wyndon's sort of action. There's some room for roleplay there, but I feel like we just kind of had to forestall it.
Yeah.
Interactions can kind of come from players just having the time to do that.
Okay, how about this? You roll in the order that you're, and we'll find the fate. But then we all do the descriptions of how the camaraderie is gained and how the house rank points are gained together.
Worth a try, yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
Okay. I'll write that down. Do that later. Okay. Then thank you. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I really like the way that we built up the world as we went along, with coming up with all the people in this at school, some NPCs, and it was really fun. And I really like the characters. I really like the makeup of the team we have here, because they're so different that it only can lead to interesting situations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little tired, but I'm also just like so excited to find out more about all these characters and what they're gonna be like.
Exactly.
Also, it was some great GMing on Simon's part. I enjoyed the descriptions a lot.
Oh yeah,
They were good. Yeah, I need to write some more backstory for my actual character. I usually do that in between first and second session. That way I can kind of get an idea of how the world's going to play out.
because now you have an idea of what the character is like. Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you have had a chance to play them once. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much for. I put a lot of effort into this game because I'm really hoping.
Oh yes, we can tell.
Like, I'm hoping that I can either get get it sold to like to someone who has the rights to make a role playing game out of this, or link it to my Divine Arts page and basically say that. Anyone can have a free copy of it if they buy some art that I've made once I've finished all of the illustrations and all the like writing the rules and writing how the game master should create the overarching mystery. So I still have a lot of work to do before that, but you guys are giving me a lot of motivation to keep going. So thank you very much.
The Powered by the Apocalypse subreddit. It's RPBTA. I'll type in the chat here.
Thank you very much. I think we can stop the recording here. Dane, is that fine with you?
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.